I first decided it was best to go back to the roots of drawing, which was charcoal, aka pencil. So went on Pinterest to find some inspiration, and I stumbled upon this whimsical image of a duck wearing rain boots. Now, if you're like me, you're asking yourself, why does a duck need to wear rain boots? Isn't that what its flippers are for? But, that didn't stop me from starting the drawing. So here we have my brief outline, kind of ghost duck vibes. And then I really went in with the shading because, that's what art is, right? Like outline, shade, really got in every single feather. And of course had to add some scenery as well. Sign my name at the bottom, and that is my pencil duck.
Hey guys, so this is me working on my self-portrait. I drew this in public at Lincoln Center on a very crowded day, and I think that's one of the more embarrassing things you can do if you're not like really good at it. Here's me adding some little details. I got really into the smudging of it all, so this is me in a way, She looks like someone that exists. How crazy would it be if she's in the audience right now? Stand up, girl. I see you.
Alright, y'all. It's early in the morning, and I've woken up early to do my self-portrait. So I feel like I'm just gonna get creative and just draw myself however I want because it's art, so it can be anything. This is my tool. Shout out to my grandma for getting me these. I actually own a portrait that someone's mom made for me that I won in a comedy show. I don't know if I could recreate this, but it's good inspiration. Something that I see artists do is they never draw hard lines. They always go like this, like in movies. So I'm trying that technique. And I was low-key the person in middle school that liked drawing eyes in their math notes. So I'm trying to channel that. I'm using this hack I saw on an Instagram reel on how to draw lips. Okay, the nose is where I'm really starting to struggle here. Somehow, when the cameras weren't rolling, I pulled it all together and made this beautiful self-portrait.
Hey guys. So back in the stew. That's all. But I'm gonna get dressed and work on some art, but I think in order to be the most productive, I've got to dress the part. So I'm going to change into what I think my cool art history teacher from when I studied abroad in Madrid would wear. She's like asymmetrical bob. So I'm gonna keep my bob symmetrical, but that's kind of the vibe. Okay. Now I'm ready to I'm gonna just put on some binaural beats and let my body lead me to my next piece. Yeah. Where are we going? So I am working on my painting. Yeah, perfect. And I don't want to give away what I'm painting. I want to see if you guys can guess it, but I'll let you watch me. I'm trying to zhuzh this one up, and I think I'm just realizing why they call it the background. It's supposed to be in the back, and I did this first, so in the back is just I was like, it's snow, bitch, get real. So we have to make this better. I need something to mix up my paints on. I'm gonna use trash. That's usually what I do. I love to use trash in a lot of contexts. These were thrown away by someone. These were thrown away by someone. These were thrown away by someone. Spoiler. But they came back with a vengeance. I'm talking about my boobs. Basically, if you don't know, when I was 18, I got a breast reduction because I had big old tatas. I like to call myself Boobjamin Button. But you know what's funny? God is just such a pervert. Well, he just loves boobs. They grew right back. So it's kind of just like life. Isn't that crazy? Now I kind of like them. So I'm kind of going for like a void. The void. We're just doing this. That's it. Okay? We're having fun. We're not overthinking it. We're putting our heart into it. Our soul. We're going to make it beautiful. But we're having fun. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, now on to the painting, so please ignore what I'm trying to mouth. I originally thought I was going to paint the Love is Blind reunion as I was watching it, and then I went a little bit off the rails and kind of went more for like a back of a zoomy shirt 2016 style rolling tray artwork, if that makes sense. So I know a lot of this is time-lapse. I thought it was the best way to show my process. But as you could see, I laid down some newspaper, started going in with some paints that Allie got for her birthday. I tried to do kind of like Bart Simpson, flamingo, alien, fish, lava lamp, mushroom, and see what would it be like if all those characters got together and were in a painting.
Today I'm working on my collage, and I'm thinking I'm going to do sort of my dream blunt rotation with the characters that I find in my magazines. Okay, so the squad I came up with, I have Uncle Fester, Nicole Kidman, Sarah Paulson, Elphaba, Snooki, Bill Murray, Adele, and Michelle Obama. I think this is how everybody would get along. We have Michelle and Adele like totally off a bean. They're goofing. They're like peeking their heads out the window. They're playing sweet or sour with the cars passing by. Bill Murray's cracking up at these two. And over here, we have an issue going on. So you can see Cynthia, Reba, Elphaba, and Uncle Fester kind of like what's going on. It's because Nicole Kidman just farted and whispered to Sarah Paulson, and she's cracking up. So then Cynthia's like, what the hell? Snooki's like, don't worry, I have Lysol.
Moving on to what some might say is my area of expertise, collage. I found these two magazines here, and I started out just cutting out this red hat as my base, and then I found Lex Luthor and his head looked cold. He needed a hat. Then I saw this cigarette, and I thought, what does a villain need? A cigarette, because smoking is evil and bad. So cut that right on out of Oppenheimer and forced it into his little mouth. For the background, I wanted to choose something a little bit more natural. You know, I live in the city, so I don't get to see the mountains every day. So maybe in my fantasy collage world, I'm Lex Luthor in the mountains, or however you want to approach that. Found this guy holding a basket and thought maybe he should hold something a little bit more fun. Not this, perfect. So I put in that in the bottom and then added in this little creature in the top left. Here you can kind of see my final collage before I glued everything down, and my glue of choice is of course Purple Elmer's, which completes my collage.
Guys, So for my sculpture piece this week, I am making Skims panties, but homemade version. So what you're gonna want to grab if you're gonna make this at home is some pubes. If you don't have any pubes of your own, you can always borrow from a friend. And then I have these little panties that are perfect. So we're just gonna apply our layer. I'm going for an untamed landing strip, like think shaved about a week ago and growing out from there. So heavy in the middle, and then it'll kind of brush out. And then you want to grab a handful of your pubes and just kind of stick it on there. Boom, y'all, finished product. I absolutely love how they turned out. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you made some at home. I'd love to see. Let's celebrate.